I am live. If you are logging into the recording of this, wait just a second while I go post this on our webpage, and then we will get started. We're going to do them in reverse order today. Remember Me, and then book 3, book 2, book 1. If you don't know what you're looking at, go to denverguitarorchestra.com. That's where we post everything, and everything will be explained to you there. And that's all I know. There. Make sure that the link works properly. And view page, and then we'll get started. Hopefully the sound is good. I can never tell until somebody logs in and says the sound is good. All right. You probably didn't click on this accidentally. That is one scary cover photo. All right, everybody will be loading in here for just a second. We're going to start with Remember Me today, book 4. Book 4. We've been thinking, we played it all last week. I unfortunately have not spent as much time on it as I wanted to over the weekend. And so we'll probably leave off pretty good right where we are. Hey, Vic, welcome in. She says the sound is good, and we believe Vic. And Evelyn is here. All right, Evelyn was in the previous class. She's getting her ample time worth of stringed instrument play. All right, I'm going to get tuned up. You guys get tuned up, and then we'll start. We'll play Remember Me first today. Right? I remember us saying yesterday we were going to play them in reverse order today. Got this fan running. Having kind of a toasty day here today. That'll work. So I put on new strings on this thing a few weeks back, a couple weeks ago. And they got real heavy 13s on these lower strings, and they sound really great. And then but they followed suit with putting really heavy strings on here, and I'm not positive I like them. They're the 80-20 bronze, and I think I definitely like those silk and steel ones so you get picky, right, as a guitar player, of what your guitars sound like. And so now I'm going to have to start using one set of strings for down here and a different set of strings for up here. This is the kind of craziness we deal with. All right, everybody, let's dig into it. Hopefully everybody is coming in, and if not, well, whatever, they'll be here. Hey, Arlo, just going to listen in. Nice. Arlo will let me know if I say anything crazy. Arlo's a way better guitar player than I am. All right, Remember Me, as you guys know from Coco, Disney's, Pixar's little guitar movie. And if you haven't seen it, please go see it. It's awesome. Let's start with just playing melody today, okay? And so what I like to do when we're doing that, see how close we can get to having really solid tonality. Probably by the time you're at level 4, playing a melody is no longer a big deal. Getting the notes to slide from one to the other in as beautiful a way as you can, really connecting your notes, that's always a challenge. And so let's see how pretty we can make it. Let's talk about places where we will run into challenges with that and what we can do to fix it. So let's start with the guitar melody line. And since 7 is the second note, I'm thinking I'm probably going to be looking at and putting my pinky on that 7. I don't go up to 8 clear and all the way down until measure 5. So maybe I will, I don't know. So there's this thought about, well, should I start with my pinky on 7, which puts my middle on 5? Do I start on 5 with my ring and reach up for the 7? That gets me the ability to jump down and grab the 3s. There's some argument to be made there. I'm just going to start with my middle finger because I can't make a decision. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Get the right 3. So I'd like to start over. I grabbed that 3 and I'm like, that doesn't sound right. And I'm like, oh, I meant that 3. but cat's already out of the bag, right? So once you own it, you just lift up and get that to stop and move on, right? So you're going to make a lot of mistakes in life. What you do is you just stop the mistake. You can't really fix the mistake. Okay, let's try it from the top. 1, 2, 3. Page 2. Go back to the top. Hopefully I'll do a whole lot better this second time around. At the top, ready, play. Second ending. Okay, that's a good melody. It's a little bit all over the place, and there's a lot of opportunity to blow it. It's very hard to play it positionally because you're here, then you're here, then you're here, then you're here, then you're here. I think if I was getting ready to play in our orchestra, and I was going to be playing melody on that, I would for sure go through and mark certain key places where I wanted to make sure my index finger landed or my pinky landed, to get the most bang for my buck on any given spot in the music. Since you're flying all over the place, you want to try to minimize the potential for really a tragedy to happen. And I don't think I did a very good job of that. And the way I would have fixed that is just go through and mark, hey, use your pinky here, slide down 2 with your ring finger or whatever, to make sure that when I'm playing it and I get to those more intense sections where I got to play here and here at the same time, that I can actually look away from the sheet music. I've already made my decisions about what's going to be where, and then I don't have to have that same level of panic when I look back and like, okay, where am I? What's the next thing coming up? It's hard to do just a melody after practicing tough acts. So it's hard to go backwards, isn't it? Isn't it? I would say at this level, at level 4, especially in this type of a program, you kind of decide who you are, right? hey, I might want to play with some other people once in a while. And if you are that person, you really do want to spend a little time practicing the melody and the chords because inevitably you're going to show up to uh, rehearsal with some friends, and you're going to say, all right, we're going to do Remember Me. And they will have rehearsed, they will have practiced, they will have gotten really good at whatever it is that you didn't, or probably the same thing as you did actually. And then one of you is going to have to switch. And so it's good to be able to play both ways, right? So you want to play tough acts, you want to play the melody, you want to play the chords, just enough where you're going to be able to play with other people. Now, if you know for sure, hey, I am never walking outside of my house with this guitar, one, that's a questionable decision. But two, if that is your decision, you'll be fine the rest of your life with tough acts, right? Tough acts is where it's happening for soloists. We want to play the melody and the chords at the same time. And obviously, I give you my idea of what I think is a nice arrangement. And it's not written in stone. You can absolutely add to it and subtract to it and do different things with it. But I do think learn to play both. Even if tough acts is your goal, and that's what you really want to do, is just be a solo guitar player. I do think there's going to come times, especially as you get better and as you get out there and more people listen to you, and they're like, "Man, that person is really good on guitar." They're going to want to play with you. And most guitarists are pretty competent with their chords, not near the same number are competent with playing a straight line melody through there. And so that's a place to really develop a little bit of a cult following, is to be the lead guitarist, right, where you get to play the melody over their chords, and it's a lot of fun. When the few times that I've done it, and I haven't done it a ton, but the few times I've done it, I love it. I mean, honestly, just to have them keep that good, solid pacing and do all the hard work of adding in all these complicated chords, and all I'm in charge of is just whatever the singer is in charge of. That's a pretty good feeling. It's like, I'm bulletproof. I can do this. Let's play it one more time. What I'm really focusing in on with myself is seeing how long I can hold a note before I actually have to move something. And so if I can get that instead of that, I'm going to do better, right? And so I want these notes to be long and lush and really ring out as long as possible. If I have an electric guitar and I'm plugged in an amplifier, I can sometimes get a little help from that electronic program. But when you're on straight acoustic, it's really about how little you can do with your left hand to make those notes last as long as possible. All right, let's try it one more time. Just the melody, please. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Did a little better that time. Feeling like those notes are nice and connected and feeling like I'm getting a decent tone out of the guitar. Again, for those of you who are newer, right, I'm trying to, when I'm wanting really, really clean tone out of the guitar, I got to make sure I have really good posture, using a strap to keep the guitar where it's supposed to be, keeping my thumb very carefully behind here, not physically thinking about it anymore because that's just where my thumb goes. But when you first start, your thumb's all over the place, your guitar's all over the place, and just getting that basic stuff set up is going to increase your tonality and make you sound a little prettier. All right, on this one we skipped past the chords because frankly I can't sing the song, and so if you are a singer, you do want to dig into these chords. Remember, we did talk about you've got your G chord here, and sometimes I put this G chord in the arrangement. When you're singing, you probably are going to want to favor your bar chords here because you have your C minor right underneath that, and then you have your F right down here, and your B7. Okay. E minor's open, but you have lots and lots of bar chord possibilities there in that early part of the song, and that same chord structure shows up again at measure 11. So it makes a lot of sense to play some of these with bar chord shapes rather than the open shapes. And since Arlo's here, he'll tell you everything is better with bar chords. And so with bar chords, you pretty much do want to work on them, even though they don't always sound great when you're new. Putting some time in just to say, all right, that's a G chord, that's an F chord, here's an E chord. Now I know how to play flamenco guitar, right? Here's the A chord. I can play all Spanish music, right? That sounds so good on a guitar. It's so traditional, right? And you have to have those bar chords in place to do that stuff. So it's worth taking the time, and it's also super handy to know G is here, and right below it's C minor. And those two chords get along pretty well. So since that relationship works, you know the same relationship's going to work here. And it'll work right down here as well. So when it comes time to start noodling on your guitar and fooling around with it, that's something to start to mess around with and start to just stick into your noggin. Hey, those two chords sit right next to each other. They're going to sound great together. When I'm ready to create some music, that's how I'm going to do it. All right, we're going to play the tough acts. Go nice and slow. We'll find those places. I think my challenge is in measure 9. When I get there, it absolutely is eating me up every single time. And when I sit down to practice, that's where I'm going because that's what the place where it's going to be my biggest challenge. Okay, but yours may be somewhere else. From the top, 1, 2, 3. Where are you? Back to the top. Whoops. Golly. How did you guys do? I'm messing up in exactly the same spots as I did last week. So apparently not practicing this weekend did not do me any good. As what's interesting is the more I work on this, the more I find that I adjust my fingering. I had a really great idea last week. I put that down. I'm like, yep, that's exactly what you're going to do. And then you find out, I don't think that's going to work. And so I adjust. I'd like to play it one more time. How are we doing on time? We chewed up all this time. Shucks. All right, so let's call that good for today. Okay, let's agree that you're going to work on the parts that are not good for me today. I forget the repeats. And forget the repeats. Yeah, the repeats. Single biggest help that I have found is just take a highlighter, any color, doesn't matter. And at the beginning of measure 17, put a big old yellow line down there, right? So that means when you get to 16 and you see that yellow line coming, you think to yourself, Am I on repeat number 1 or am I on repeat number 2? The reason we mess that up is because we don't practice repeats at home in our rehearsals, right? You play through 17 every single time, and then you're like, oh yeah, by the way, I got to finish it up. We have a tendency not to take repeats seriously when we're practicing alone at home, and then we mess them up when we get to rehearsal, right? And so put yourself those yellow lines. I would put one at the beginning of measure 1 and then another one at the beginning of 17, so that your eyes are pulling up and that yellow line means something. You get there and you're like, okay, am I on the first time through? Yes. Go into 17. Am I on the second time through? Yes. No, I'm not going into 17. I'm going to jump down to 18. Arlo says, bar chord use also helps with learning the net. Get your hands to find the desired frets without looking. Absolutely. I will say that I wish I had spent more time learning the tough act stuff earlier in my playing journey. It really builds agility necessary to be effectively player. So I think Arlo's point is two things I think is really, really important. As a guitarist, knowing this is an E chord is helpful, right? And then you notice that this is an F chord. Same E shape, but now you got a bar here. Okay? Well, it turns out that on the E string, this is an F note. So now I know every time I use this shape, I can just learn, I got to learn the names of my notes on this string, and that's the chord I'll be playing. F sharp, G, G sharp, A sharp, popularly known as B flat, okay, B, and then there's a C here. And there's a system called Caged that helps you with that, but I think more important than Caged is just knowing, hey, this one shape, I got a really effective system of going through. That's an F, that's a G, that's an A, and C, right? There it is. And so by learning that little system there, the other handful of bar chords that we use in guitar all follow a similar idea. And so you've got A minor, go up 2, you're on B minor. Go up one more, you're on C minor. Go up another one, you're D. Here's E, and here's F. Okay, so then you take two chords, the A minor chord and the E minor chord, and practice running them up the fretboard all of the time. Eventually memorize, hey, that one, I'm using this string to tell me what the note is. And I think it's very helpful. I don't think it's something that new people need to be worried about overly much, but it is something, those of you that have gotten your basic chords under your belt, you're making everything go together pretty well. It really, that can make you a lot more comfortable about, hey, I need an F chord. Where the heck am I going to find an F chord on here? Right there, right? I need a G chord. Well, I got this G chord, but I also have this G chord. I have this other G chord down here. And so it gives you a lot of options. And again, it's for more advanced players. So don't be thinking if you're a new player that you need to know that, but it is something you want to work toward. And then Arlo's other comment is, hey, I wish I'd spent a little bit more time doing tough style play, right? Which is learning that melody, learning how to combine the melody and the chords. Because honestly, the guitar players who you know their names, okay, and that's true in popular music, in folk style music, in fingerstyle music, and in classical music, they know how to get the melody and the chords at the same time. And it's a slow process. It's not coming to you tomorrow. I've been spending a lot of years on this so far, and you see when I get to remember me, it's eating me alive. Not eating me alive, but there's a few moments in here that are like, oh God, I can't get that right. And so I do think what you're working on right here, right now, whatever level you're working at is the right thing to be doing. And I do think it'll make you a better player down the road. All right. Whew. A lot of work on that one. Still to go. We'll get it. We will get it. I know us. I know how good we are. We can do it. Let's go back to level 3. Let's drop it back a level. Get a song that makes some more sense. Let's go do Santa Lucia. Okay. And what we learned about Santa Lucia yesterday was that the chords are not brutal, that the melody is really beautiful, that the daggone song is pretty darn playable. And so we're going to end up with a really nice piece of music here, and we're going to get to go to Italy in the meantime and take a ride on a gondola, and that's never a bad thing. Okay. Play the melody first from the top. 1, 2, 3. 3, 3, 3, 3, 2, 2. 1, 1, 0, 0, 3, 3. 0, 0, 3, 3, 2, 1. 1, 0, 2, 0, 3. 3, 3, 3, 3, 2, 2. 1, 1, 0, 0, 3, 3. 0, 0, 3, 3, 2, 1. 1, 0, 2, 0, 3. Got your 7 coming up. 7, 5, 3, 2, 0, 5. 5, 3, 0, 2, 3, 3. 7, 3, 3, 3, 3, 0, 1, 5, 5. 5, 0, 2, 5, 3. 7, 5, 3, 2, 0, 5. 5, 3, 0, 2, 3, 3. 7, 3, 3, 3, 3, 0, 1, 5, 5. 5, 7, 5, 5, 3. Another thing when you're playing straight melody, when you have a long note, give it a little vibrato. Okay? That's one thing we can do on acoustic guitar that's going to sound amazing. And it really does help to just help extend the note a little bit longer, make it a little bit more interesting. And so add a little vibrato onto your long notes. All right, I'm going to sing the song. Sorry about that. Let's practice our chords, make sure we got them all down. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Now neath the silvery moon, calm seas are glittering, sweet winds and gentle waves caress my sailboat, full sail with breezes fair, they soothe my woes and care. Come sail with me today, off to Napoli. Oh, how the sailors cry, joyously echoes nigh, Santa Lucia, Santa Lucia. Oh, how the sailors cry, joyously echoes nigh, Santa Lucia, Santa Lucia. This would be a perfect candidate if I was really going to be singing to change it into a little bit lower key. Some of those notes get really high for me. My singing, my voice is absolutely iffy under the best of circumstances, and it completely fails when I get up to those higher notes. And so I'd be thinking, all right, what does it sound like in A? What does it sound like in D? What does it sound like in E? Those would be my first other choices for rearranging this and trying to bring the overall tenor of the song down. And to do that, we end up needing to do some transposing with the chords. And for those of you guys that might be interested in that, I can absolutely give you some advice. But generally speaking, one of these chord wheels is really the best way to go for that. The song we're working on is in G. And you know that because it starts in G, ends in G, and has a lot of G's in it. That means we're in this key right here. So the chords that are likely to show up in there are C, D, A minor, maybe a B minor and an E minor and an F sharp diminished. Now the F sharp diminished doesn't show up at all, but on the first page we have D7, we have an A minor, and that's what we have. And then later on in the song, a C also shows up. So you use this relationship to say, all right, I'm not being very successful singing it in G. What if I roll this around to D? Now, every time a G chord comes up, I'm going to play a D. Every time, the D7 shows up, I'm now going to play an A7. And so something like this is something I purchased it mostly to teach with. I don't actually use it because I know how to do it in my head. But when you're first starting, having a little tool like that can be super helpful. And so if you're a singer and you need to, or you're working with a singer and they're not getting along with how high or how low the song is, you need to transpose it into another key, and you can use one of those. Okay, let's play the tough axe. 1, 2, 3. It's actually quite a bit of work. Exactly what you'd think on level 3, right? Level 3 is quite a lot of work, but the results are pretty good, right? So even though you're kind of all over the fretboard and some of those chord shapes are a little bit of work and you're hearing my guitar buzz a little bit, I'm still getting a pretty decent result out of it. And so I do think that's a song that's worth working on, and the chord shapes are not, they're not demoralizing chord shapes. All right, let's play Pay Me My Money Down. And we'll just play whatever system you want to play. Vic says, I. 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 All right, let's play Pay Me My Money Down. Play it any way you want. We're going to just play through it one time. If you want to do chords, if you want to do the melody, if you want to do the tough axe, whatever you think is the most sensible for you at this moment. And let's give it a try. Okay, we'll play it all the way down to the bottom, measure 18. We'll go back, we'll play the whole thing a second time, and then remember to skip 17 and 18 the second time through, play 19, 20, and 21 to wrap it up. Okay, because I like that song, not this song. I like that song, not this song. So play that song, don't play this song. If you like that song, you don't need to play this song. This song is really designed to teach you. I thought I heard the captain say, "Play me my money down." Right, so that's really A and E. Jumping back and forth between those two. That's what's fun. I'm gonna play the tough U because that's what I do. Okay, from the top. 1, 2, 3. The top. I feel like I'm manhandling the guitar the whole way through, just sort of fighting my way to try to make it as tough as I can, and kind of fun. Okay. I would probably, if I was really going to play this, I would probably get some fellas together, and I'd say, all right, we're going to sing the words. I thought I heard the captain say, play me my money down, tomorrow is my sailing day. Pay me my money down. That's probably how you want to play it, right? Just sort of the way Bruce Springsteen does it. Just a whole lot of just wall of noise. Not really any level of subtlety or sophistication to it. But if that's the idea behind the song, you try to bring that into whatever method of guitar you're also playing. Even if you're on melody, you're not going to go, right? You're going to get a little more aggressive. Try to be a little aggressive with it, right? Man, beat it up a little bit. And I think it's kind of fun, right? It's different than other stuff that we have in the book, and it's just one of those things where you're like, that is better. Yeah. All right. So I'm gonna make a convert out of Vic to get her to Pay Me My Money Down. All right. Last one. Frere Jacques, right? Brother John. Guys, those of you who are new, this is it. This is the foundation. This is the important song of every single thing we do. There is nothing that you don't need to know on this page. This is a big deal. People come up and they're like, I don't understand what Gary's issue is with Frere Jacques. What they don't understand is what I know. And what I know is if I can get a player to understand what's on this page, I got them. They can play the rest of their lives quite happily. Just working on getting better and better at it, the same exact skill set that's in here. So don't not think this is important. And also, if you are getting where you can play pretty well, and somebody says, hey, because they'll find out about it, the word's going to get out, hey, you're a guitarist, somebody's going to come along and say, man, I always wanted to learn how to play guitar. And you grab their arm and you bring them to your house and you sit them down and you put Brother John in front of them and you get started exactly the way I'm starting everybody. And really, if they'll stick with it, if they will stick with you and they will practice a tiny bit and keep showing up to play with you, 6 months from now, they're going to be a great player. Just same story as with you, right? All right, let's give it a try. Just the melody. Don't play the tough acts on this one. That's too hard. Okay, just the melody. 1, 2, 3, 4. 0, 2, 4, 0, 0, 2, 4, 0, 4, 5, 7, 4, 5, again. Frere Jacques, Frere Jacques, dormez-vous, dormez-vous, sonnez les matines, sonnez les matines, ding, dang, dong. We'll do it again. Ding, dang, dong. One more time. Big E chord on the end. Okay. In the ukulele class this week, we have taken this exact arrangement and tried to make it as insanely complicated as possible. And you can do it, right? We've added in all sorts of extra decorative notes. We've added in some strums. We've added in some accent marks to play things louder, some beautiful down strums, some fast strums. So you could take a song like this and really fancy it up. And while that's not the song people think, yeah, I want to play Are You Wonderful Tonight or Layla or whatever, Clapton, right? But that's not really what you want to play when you're first getting started. When you're first getting started, we want to get the tools where we're just in charge of the guitar. Once we're in charge of the guitar, we can knock Eric Clapton out, no problem. But getting yourself in charge of all of the pieces and parts, that's what we got to do first. And if we build that foundation effectively, you're going to be able to play everything. All right, held you a little bit long today. Sorry about that, guys. Have a wonderful afternoon. Again, it's just not safe out there, so please stay inside as much as possible. And I'm going to play this day at about 12 feet away from everybody. People who say, "Oh, we haven't really been doing anything." They've been doing stuff, right? So be mindful. You don't want this thing. So, muchas gracias. Hasta mañana, Evelyn. You're my hero. Have a wonderful day. Thanks for being here. And Vic and Arlo, thanks for being here. And whoever else is sneaking around up here in the widget, glad you guys are sticking it out with me as well. We're going to become fine guitar players if we just keep showing up. And so that's, we're never not going to have a challenge, right? There's always going to be something that's eating our lunch. And that's the fun part. So have a wonderful day. And I will see all of you guys tomorrow. And we'll knock these 4 songs out again. Have a great day, you guys.